Tugboat.
All right, boys. Before we get on out of here, I think transition to like a Jays podcast for a second because there's like speculation on Twitter or X, I should say X, that talks are progressing with Shohei Ohtani to join the Jays. And this reminds me of like if this were to actually happen and Shohei Ohtani signs with the Blue Jays, what do you think would be bigger? Ohtani to the Jays or McDavid to the Leafs?
Like within the city? Like what would be
Yeah.
more impactful?
Yeah, exactly.
I want to say within the city, I want to say McDavid, but I don't think so. I think Shohei would be. He's arguably the biggest star east of a certain point. Whatever, if you want to say from the eastern part of the world, if you want to say we're the west, that's the eastern part of the world. There's nobody even close to him right now. I mean, he's one top 3, top 4 biggest stars in sports right now.
Yeah, but we're not asking about the world. We're asking for Toronto. What's a bigger deal?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is you get a guy that's going to like I'm hearing numbers like he might get 600 million and the first like all the comments you're reading are he's going to make it back in jersey sales almost immediately. It's going to be
that's a lot of jerseys to sell $600 million worth.
Hey, listen. There's a lot of people that live where where Shohei's from, so it would open up an even bigger market for me. So for as big as Connor McDavid coming here would be, it's a very diverse city. I think a guy like Shohei would cause just as much of a stir as Connor would. For as big as Connor McDavid is, and for as big as the Leafs are, I still think Shohei would just. He's kind of got the you guys remember the Ichiro thing where it's like wherever Ichiro went, kind of there was the Japanese media there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was more than a baseball event. It was a show, and I think this guy would carry the same. He carries the same clout.
Well, maybe the Jays would actually get on like Fox or
they'll get a Sunday night
ESPN.
baseball game. They'd get a Sunday night baseball game for sure.
You know what, Rob? Like, I don't think there's a wrong answer here. Because Shohei, they're saying, might be the greatest talent that ever played this game, right? It's like, can you imagine Babe Ruth being on, well, the Jays weren't a team back then, but like, pick a small market team. Well, not even say that. Pick a team like Milwaukee, with Babe Ruth going to Milwaukee or something, right? It's like, here you have a global phenomenon that has transcended the game. And not only is he playing for a city, playing for a country, right? That's, we forget about that, right? But I'm going to go on the other side and say, you're talking about the mecca of hockey. And if we're talking about Toronto, not the world, Toronto, this is not a hockey city. This is a Leaf city.
I agree.
The Leafs drive this city. And we've always wanted, like Austin Matthews, when all is said and done, will probably be one of, if not the most talented, could be maybe the greatest Leaf to ever put on a jersey, okay? However, he's not the hometown boy. He's not the savior, as we call him.
That guy's playing a generational player that comes around once every generation.
I don't want to use the G word, but sometimes you may have used McDavid and Gretzky in the same sentence in terms of talent. Gretzky never had a chance to play for the Leafs. Close.
Had a chance. He wanted to.
Stavros screwed that one up.
Yeah.
But if McDavid ever put on a Leaf jersey in the prime of his career, because it's not far off, right? That would be the biggest thing to ever happen to this organization. And I don't want to say like I could actually see it happening. Whether it's 2 years from now, 8 years from now, whatever. But I think that would be a bigger influence on the city. You want to talk about jersey sales. You want to talk about kids being Leaf fans. Oh, boy. Put McDavid in a Leaf jersey. Like, it's monumental for this organization in the city, even for the minor hockey contingent. So I think it would be a bigger impact on the city itself if McDavid, and if they're winning. McDavid coming here is one thing, but McDavid coming here and winning, I don't think that can be touched.
I remember when the Leafs signed Tavares on that July 1st, that was like took over every news outlet, everything. It would be that times 100.
Oh,
and I think there's a strong possibility that it does happen. People in Edmonton will hate us for saying that, but I just think at some point he wants to come home and play. I actually think the Leafs have a better chance of getting him when this contract is up in, 2-3 years, if he wins a cup in Edmonton. Because then, like Gretzky, you could be like, all right, my job here's done. I put in 12 years. I got the cup. I'm going to go try something different. Whereas if he doesn't win and they're a really good team, it's like, I'm going to abandon this team in this city right now while we're on the cusp of winning. I don't see that happening, or it's a lot less likely anyways.
On
so
the cusp, eh?
I think all Leaf fans should cheer for the Oilers if the Leafs don't win.
I don't
as
think
hard
Oilers...
as it would be to listen to all those Oiler fans, I think it actually benefits them in the long run.
So, Joe, just to help you out here, Connor McDavid's got 2 more years after this year. Okay.
Yeah.
Draisaitl has 1 more year after this year.
That's correct.
A lot's gonna come down to if Draisaitl wants to stay or he wants to go. Because if he goes, that's like, who has he got to play with? So we might know more of this after next year. So let's revisit this conversation. But right off the bat, I know what's going on right now, but if I have to say to you guys, if you give a percentage, what's more likely to happen? Shohei signing with the Jays or McDavid signing with the Leafs? If it actually, has an opportunity. Because there's no slam dunk right now for Shohei, that's for sure.
I'm going to say Shohei for this reason. We don't even know if Connor's going to be a free agent. And we know Shohei's a free agent. And we know it's for me, it's the Dodgers or the Jays. I think it's those 2 teams. And there's an outside chance maybe the Cubs, but I don't think so. I think it's down to those 2. So if you're going to tell me that, I'm going to say 35% is Shohei to the Jays, whereas McDavid's 15%, 10%. I couldn't go any higher than that because we don't even know if he might resign tomorrow, and then we don't know.
I say McDavid has a better chance, even though I'm going to look like a moron tomorrow when this comes out and he's signing with the Jays. Imagine that. The Jays never land the biggest fish on the market like this. It's never happened, and
I don't know.
They're so rarely even in the conversation with these big players. So I almost feel like Shohei's camp is using the Jays as leverage to get more money out of the Dodgers because, listen, he's from Japan. It's a lot easier for him if he lives in LA to get home, talk to family come visit if he's there than it is Toronto. So I think there's that angle that you have to be mindful of as well.
See, I'm on the other side.
That's why he signed with the Angels in the first place, I think. Why else would he have signed with them?
I think the Padres are trying to use the Jays to boost Soto's. I don't think the Shohei things. I don't think this is smokescreen. I think this is a real legit thing. And Rogers is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. You're telling me they wouldn't want to have Shohei's face plaster all over their equipment going out, like the commercials you're going to see with that guy. He might not even have time to play baseball. He's going to be doing commercials all day.
I'll even go one step further.
My Ignite package. I'm going to call Rogers to complain. No, I want Shohei on the line. I don't want to talk to you. You're paying him $600 million. Get him on the line.
Well, you don't want to speak to Gerd Deep from Nova Scotia on your tech support. You want to... Hey, I'll even take you one step further, Rob. I think the Padres are using the Jays to increase their package to the Yankees for Soto.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They're using I don't believe in the Soto one might happen, but I think they're using the Jays. The Jays are not being used in this. This is a
I think they're going to miss out on both.
They very well might. But a couple of years ago, like we didn't think they were going to get Gausman 2-3 years ago, and they got him for a pretty cheap price. So guys like this don't hit the market. And imagine if you're the Angels that got nothing, didn't make the playoffs, didn't trade this guy. Like what idiot? And I wonder if we'll see what Edmonton decides to do next year and the year after, because they might have to move those 2 guys, and the package that they would get for those guys be outrageous.